Hey, so how's everybody? So, when you make a J-beam, you got node materials, and a lot of these node materials here, these are all of them. These are node materials that can be used to make particles, but, you know, I think I'm the only person that's used any of these for anything other than nothing, basically. So like this fire small, if I load up my blender, the mod for my blender here, um, it's got node material metal. This is for the blades, but if I were to tell this to be fire small, nothing would happen. Because at the time, there is not a particle programmed to do anything there. So to understand this a little more, you have to understand that in the game install folder is a Lua folder, and in the common folder, now let's just go back. We got the game install folder here, and Steam apps, common beam, ng drive, and then you got a Lua folder, and inside of there you got a common folder. I guess it's kind of like the common folder for the vehicles, like some things are shared and whatnot and whatever. But in here you got particles.json, which is not a Lua, but it's in here nonetheless. So if you want to implement this into your mod to have new particles, well, you just need to go to the user folder, and in the user folder make a Lua folder and make a common folder and paste that particles.json in there. Now when you zip your mod, when you pack your mod, you'll have to include this in the packed mod. But right now this is just in working order. It's in a working position where it'll work now, but to pack it as a mod, it has to be included with the mod. It's got to be packed, well, just like a common folder, but it'd be the Lua folder. So in the particles folder, if we go down to the bottom here, you'll see all the things that like make the particles, like metal touches mud, plastic touches mud, rubber touches grass, metal touches gravel. Interestingly, there's like there's like one for metal touches metal, which is sparks. Number one is sparks, which that makes sense, right? So if you want to make a new one, like metal touches, I don't know, metal touches small fire. Fire small. See, I knew I should paste that because I had to get it backwards. So if you want to say metal touches fire small, which the cars are metal, of course. Do we want to make a new one? Make a new particle too. Something different. Now, you can put a node in there if you want. You don't have to. But when fire small touches metal, it's going to create a new particle. It is, in fact, it's going to create a new one, and the slip velocity requirement was going to be less than that, because we wanted to make it a lot. Now this is the area in square meters that it'll put out the particle. Then it's got the extra velocity, if any, and then the particle number, and then how many times it creates it. So you can look at all this at the top. It tells you the width, velocity multiplier, the count, and particle type. I got it backwards. That's the particle type. That's how many times. So we say 5 or 4 times, make it. It'll be 4 times the amount of sparks. But we're not making sparks, no sir. We're making something unique and new. I reinstalled the game, so I knew like right now there is no particle number 90. So we'll just make it number 90. Now we'll save this here because I got a little bit more work to do. We got to go to the game install folder, to the content, to the art shapes, to the art, to the shapes, to the particles. And we need to copy this. We need to copy it to our clipboard because now we got to go back. We got to go back to the user folder. And in their art, shapes, particles folder, that's where you got to put it. Make sure I got that right. Art, shapes, particles. Okay, that's right. And also, this will need to be included in your mod as well. But for the time being, it's in a workable folder, meaning you can manipulate it here and it'll work here for now. So I want to make something crazy. I want to make a weird ass spark that, well, a blender makes when a blender blends up things. Maybe, I don't know. I want to make something different, but I can decide on the image later that's going to use. But for the time being, we got to make a managed particle data emitter. We got to make a new emitter. So we'll just copy this one here from Sparks. And you can always tell when the next one starts because there's a bracket and there's a comma. So if you go all the way down to the bottom, the very last one here, you'll see just 2 brackets. But if you want another one to be made, you just put a bracket and a comma. And then paste, and then change the name. BNGP, leave that. Change that to 90 if you're going to make a particle number 90, and delete this persistence ID. Then, we haven't got there yet, but we got to think of a name of our particle. I don't know, Blender. I'll just call it Blender because it's going to be for the blender. BNG Blender. Now all this other theta max, lighting, velocity variance, all that stuff, we do that and we do all this in the damn editor. We ain't doing none of that in here. Because you'd be just peeing in the wind, not knowing where it's going, what it's doing. So for now we just, and it'll be additive. It might change that to normal, but for now it's just, we'll just leave it like this. Now we got to save this. And we got to load. And I suggest you copy stuff to your clipboard so you don't misspell it. I do it all the time. I misspell stuff. So now you'll see the managed particle data. So the other thing was the emitter. This is the particle that the emitter emits. So you can find one that's similar to what you got in mind, that's already behaving in a certain way, like maybe fire or sparks or whatnot. There's a lot in there though. Let's see here. We'll just use this one here, smoke white. We'll just use smoke white. No, we won't. We won't. Let's get a different one. Let's get sparks. How about that? Alright. Now let's go back to the bottom. And let's put a bracket and a comma. Let's paste that. And let's change the name to what we said we were going to name it. Blender. I don't think I'm going to spell that wrong, but I know, it's just a good habit to do it. Now, animated texture don't do shit. It don't do nothing right now. But you still need to have it in here pointing to the picture. Now, we ain't decided on a picture yet. I said, well, let me kind of think of something that I'm gonna use. So just to show you how easy this is, we'll just go into our photo editor and just make something quick. And we'll just do like a 512 by 512. No, that ain't 512 by 512. 512 by 512, and we'll give it an alpha channel so it won't have a background. It won't have a background. And then we'll get our little tools here and we'll just kind of, make something. Let's get blood red. Blood red. Put some big splatters in there. And let's do a little blur. Alright, new layer. Transparency, merge visible layers. Alright, so now I can maybe sometimes I'll do a drop shadow too, and it kind of makes the particle look a little like it's got a little depth to it. Well, something's going to be behind it at all times, It's like, when I have a shadow cast too, I really hate the way this damn thing does not keep the canvas size the same all the time. So we'll export this into that folder. This will be the user folder, of course. This will be I hate navigating through this damn thing. I don't know why it can't be like other. Art, shapes, particles, like what we gonna name it? We're gonna name it Blender. Damn it. Blender .png. So back to here, blender.png. And like I said, the top gets the same thing, blender.png. Blender.png. And so now this particle's set. It'll be created. Oh, get rid of that persistence ID. That can cause issues sometimes, I think. I'll just remove it. Now we can load our mod. and we'll have a new particle when that metal touches the metal of the car, except it's not going to be metal, it's going to be, well, fire small. We're using the fire small node name since no one else uses them for anything. It doesn't have to be fire small, it's just the name we give it. It's just a name that the game recognizes as a node material. Doesn't have much more to do with anything really, other than maybe the sound the mod makes. I added another blade to the blender, so we got a dual hickey, a dual thingy, you know, where, well, you can do left or push right for steering to turn it either way, and you still got the bottom there that you can have also. So this is a dual action blade, and I tell you, it gets unstable quick. It sure does. I'm going to stick something in there and I'll show you how quick it becomes unstable. Well, we could put a new semi truck in there, I reckon, one of them new ones. Now we should have a new particle. Let me check make sure the particles exists in the thingy here. Yeah, it's there. You just can't see it because it's using additive instead of not set. When they do that, you should just be called normal. I guess we could do that. I don't know. This is where you just get to messing around. You just got to figure out what you want to make. And there's a lot of settings that do a lot of things. I got to turn something back on. I got this turned off. When I reinstalled, I don't have my use sliders and hold on. Use sliders in inspector. Got to have that. That lets you do that. Lets you just easily. We're gonna save it. Let's see here. Let me make it bigger. La 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 la. Damn it. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. If anybody wants to test the particle, what I'll do is I'll save it all. I should have saved. Let me check. I should have saved it in the art shapes particles. This should have the settings that I just changed for the manage particle data and all. Yeah, see, it says it's been changed by another program. You want to reload it, and yes, and then when you reload it, you should see like the new things that you've done to it. I just find it because it alphabetized it. Blender, where are you at? Blender, there you go. Yeah, see, those are the new sizes that I just gave it. So, that's all right. Yeah, see, the emitter was changed also. So yeah, it should be fine. Everything should be fine. Now to pack this thing, this is where it's tricky. Because you got to have things from both places in there. So we just make a folder on the desktop. This is where everything will go into. So let's close the game. So in this folder here, we'll start with the user folder. We'll put the Lua folder in there. And I'll just move it into there. That way I know it's not being used from anywhere in the game other than the install folder. Which the install folder does not include the changes we just made. And then the art folder. I don't need the dynamic decals and all that shit. I just need the particles, but I'll just, it's fine. We'll just put it all in there. I'll just delete the decals. Now this one I'll say copy here, but in here I'm going to delete it so it's not actually in there anymore. Now I don't need the decals, so the only thing I'm done to the mod is going to need, though it's in that Lua folder, which is where we give it the new particle. Let's Fire small, touches metal. I guess I can make that a little. I can make a few more extra ones. And so now to pack it like a regular zip, like a regular mod. I'm kind of not 100% sure because of the way this is a repoed item, a mod repo, and it has that extra info file thing that came along with it. Now that's what I'm not sure. But I think every time I resubmit this mod, it creates a new one of those anyway, so I think all I got to do is just put my Blender in this new folder here. Make a folder called Vehicles with a lowercase v. Put it in there. And then zip all this. And that's the name of the mod. Should be, all you have to do is put that in your mod folder and you should have a new particle that works with this particular mod. So just copy it into there. Now we should be able to load the game. I'll delete the temp folder. That way that gets that anything out of the no things coming from that. Oh, I need to get it out of here. What's using it? God damn it. Oh, Blender. That's why I wouldn't move it. Alright, so nothing's in the vehicles folder. So it's only in the mods folder. I deleted the temp folder. Or you load the game. That Blender spawns. If it's got a new particle, then everything went right. And it means that I share this with anybody, they'll all have that new particle too. Should. So let's just get us a vehicle, something that can break pretty easily. I need to make the damn thing a little bit wider. The Jbeam for the Jbeam for the actual Blender part. Well, you see it's kind of misleading. It doesn't really give you all that area on the side. I don't know, I'll just probably leave it. There's be more work than trying to. Alright. Alright, I'll share this thing. If anybody wants it.